Banks failing, protests erupting, China's mortgage crisis exposes financial meltdown. That's not a headline from some disaster movie. It's the reality shaking China right now. On city streets and online forums, ordinary people are rising up. Videos go viral of desperate families chanting outside bank branches and government offices. Their message is clear: no house, no mortgage payment. It's a scene no one expected in a country where order is prized above all else. But chaos is now the order of the day. For the first time in decades, Chinese homeowners are refusing to pay for homes that in many cases will never be finished. The mood is tense. The streets feel electric, charged with anger and fear. Banks are shuttering their doors. Security guards look nervous. The world is watching, and China's leaders are scrambling for answers. How did it come to this? To understand, we need to look back, way back. China's mortgage crisis isn't just a financial problem. It's a story of broken promises, government secrets, and the growing power of ordinary people who have simply had enough. Whenever large protests erupt in China, the Communist Party remembers 1989. That year, students filled Tiananmen Square, demanding change. The government's response was swift and brutal. Tanks rolled in, and thousands were crushed. Ever since, the CCP has feared mass movements like nothing else. They see protests not as a cry for help, but as a threat to their very existence. The party has mastered the art of control. Over the decades, they've used everything from police crackdowns, to internet blackouts, to silence dissent. Even gatherings as small as a dozen people can trigger a heavy-handed response. The message from the top is always the same: stability at any cost. But the mortgage boycotts are different. These aren't just students or activists, they're teachers, factory workers, young couples, people who followed the rules and still got burned. The government's usual playbook isn't working. The scale is bigger. The stakes are higher. China's leaders are haunted by history. They know that when enough people stand together, even the strongest walls can crack. The question now is, will they listen, or will they crush the movement like before? Across China, a new kind of protest is spreading: the mortgage boycott. It began with whispers online, then grew into a roar. Homebuyers in more than 100 cities are now refusing to pay their mortgages. Their homes, promised years ago, are nothing but skeletons of concrete and steel. People are furious. They saved for years, trusting developers and banks. Now, their life savings are locked in unfinished buildings. The government told them to trust the system. That trust has been shattered. In chat groups and on social media, they post photos of empty construction sites. Messages like "no house, no mortgage" are everywhere. These boycotts are unprecedented. For decades, Chinese people have avoided open confrontation with the government. But when your entire future is on the line, silence is no longer an option. Some protesters have even gathered outside local government offices demanding answers. The CCP is rattled. Mortgage payments are a major source of bank income. If millions stop paying, the system could collapse. The crisis is no longer just about angry homeowners. It's about the very foundations of China's economy. To understand why this crisis is so explosive, you have to know what a home means in China. For most families, owning property isn't just about having a place to sleep. It's status, it's security, it's a ticket to middle-class respect. In fact, over 70% of Chinese household wealth is tied up in real estate. For decades, parents saved every yuan to help their children buy a home. No apartment, good luck getting married. Seriously, it's almost a requirement. The government encouraged this too, making property ownership feel like a national duty. Buildings rose everywhere, and prices soared. But this obsession with real estate created a bubble. People bought homes they couldn't afford, convinced prices would always go up. Developers rushed to build more, often selling apartments before breaking ground. Local governments made a fortune selling land. Now that dream has turned into a nightmare. Instead of wealth, many are left with crushing debt and empty promises. The social contract, work hard, buy a home, secure your future, has been ripped apart. That's why the anger is so raw and why the protests are so powerful. The seeds of this crisis were planted years ago. Real estate companies, eager to cash in, borrowed huge sums to build ever more apartments. Companies like Evergrande became giants, selling homes before they were finished and using that money to start new projects. It was a game of musical chairs. And honestly, everyone hoped the music would never stop. Local governments played along. They depended on selling land to developers for a big chunk of their own budgets. Some even bent the rules to let big companies borrow more, build faster, and promise impossible returns. The result was a frenzy of construction and speculation. As long as homes kept selling, nobody worried. But when sales slowed, the whole system began to unravel. Developers couldn't finish projects, homebuyers got nervous, local governments faced budget holes. The risky loans that fueled the boom now threatened to bring everything crashing down. It's a classic case of greed and short-term thinking. The profits were huge, for a while. Now the bills are coming due, and well, no one wants to pay. Evergrande was once the king of China's property market. With glitzy ads and celebrity endorsements, it sold the dream of homeownership to millions. At its peak, it owed more than $300 billion, a staggering sum. But the company just didn't have enough cash. Projects stalled. Payments were missed. Soon, Evergrande was teetering on the edge. When Evergrande crashed, panic spread. Other big developers like Country Garden and Sunac soon followed. Suddenly, thousands of construction sites were abandoned. Millions of buyers were left in limbo. Small suppliers and workers went unpaid. The crisis rippled out, touching every corner of the economy. The government tried to step in, urging banks to keep lending and asking local officials to finish stalled projects. But the hole was just too big. Investors lost faith. Home buyers lost hope. The collapse of these property giants revealed just how fragile China's economic miracle had become. If the biggest companies could fail, no one was truly safe. China's banks once seemed untouchable. They had the government's backing and mountains of deposits. But the mortgage crisis has exposed some deep cracks. When millions of people stop paying their loans, banks suddenly face huge losses. The risk isn't just on unfinished homes, it's on the entire financial system. Chinese banks lent trillions to property developers, betting on endless growth. Many of these loans are now worthless. Some banks have even frozen withdrawals, sparking panic among savers. Lines form outside branches as people demand their money back. Rumors fly about which bank will fail next. The central government is worried. If banks start collapsing, the shock could spread to every part of the economy. Factories, shops, even local governments. The financial system relies on people believing their money is safe. In China, that belief is starting to crack. This is no longer just a real estate problem. It's a crisis that threatens China's entire economic future. The CCP hates bad news. As the mortgage protests spread, so did censorship. Social media posts about unfinished homes disappear in minutes. Journalists are warned to keep quiet. Even group chats are monitored for dangerous words. Protest organizers are tracked by police, and some have vanished without a trace. At the same time, emergency meetings are held behind closed doors. Bankers, developers, and local officials are summoned to Beijing. The message is clear. Stop the panic, no matter what it takes. Rumors swirl about possible bailouts, but details are scarce. The official media claims everything is under control, but on the ground, fear is growing. Behind the curtain of censorship, the crisis only gets worse. People are scared, not just of losing their homes, but of what the government might do next. The CCP's greatest weapon is secrecy. But in the age of smartphones and social media, the truth is getting harder to hide. Right now, no one knows exactly what the CCP will do next. Will they bail out banks and developers? Will they punish protesters and silence dissent? Or will they finally listen and make real changes to help ordinary people? What is clear is that the stakes have never been higher. The mortgage crisis has exposed deep problems in China's economy and society. Trust is broken, anger is rising. The world is watching to see how the government will react. Some experts warn that the crisis could spread, triggering a global shock. Others hope the government will find a way to calm the situation before it gets worse. For now, the future is a giant question mark. One thing is certain, the story is far from over. The next chapters will shape China and the world for years to come.